Snowflake action falling, but pretty much melting by the time you hit the ground. However, by the time tomorrow falls, well, it looks like there'll be plenty on the ground, on the roofs, on the trees, on the cars, on wherever you go, really. We're looking at multiple inches across our region. Temperatures on the chilly side, and then we want cool but not cold nights and sunny days. We've had a lot of those, so I think we're all the way up in the great category. We have George Washington going on down I-64 to make it here. Huntington, where the Highlanders will be taking them on at about 7:30. Guess what? Tomorrow it's going to be even hotter, so you might need more than just drink a little water. Maybe head out to the Waves of Fun out in the Hurricane area, where it's going to be a beautiful day outside and definitely much needed of a cool down. As you can see, things aren't looking all that bad for us here. Let's take a look at that game tomorrow. Don't be surprised if we get a couple of UFOs moving through the area. So what was going on out there at the Boyd County Fair? Well, of course, we had the high-flying carnival rides, as well as later on in at least the Friday evening hours, we had the death-defying demolition derby. However, it certainly is a very dangerous storm up. We're getting a little scarier as we move towards an EF2. Watch means we need to be watchful, and all of us do. What can we do to be prepared for tonight? In fact, a great night to actually go and get a little bit of fresh air. Let's go upstairs real quick so we can go on and check a look at our sleep forecast. Now, on a night like tonight, we really want to see temperatures between 60 and 72. And at least here in Huntington, I'm giving it a home run outside. We're sunny. We see temperatures at about 63 degrees. Almost looks like Mother Nature is shooting a water gun at us. These waves of storms just careening our way last night. And then you can see the journey they took spreading out across the region. It gets a lot warmer than 95 degrees in there if you ever opened up your car on a day like today. Why don't we peer through the window, see what's going on? Yeah, our old friend, the greenhouse effect. Of course, there's always a difference between the hills and the towns down in the valleys below. You may get a power hit or two, but the damage is quite minimal compared to what a lot of hurricanes can do. More damaging winds and lightning as we have heat and humidity combining and colliding. Chances for showers to pop up, however, are looking quite unlikely, but don't be surprised when you see, again, a little bit of vertical growth in those clouds moving into tomorrow's forecast. But you saw Charleston and other locations. There's still plenty of time to get outside and enjoy. Just be prepared to hunker down as you move into the forecast later today.
Drew, is this what we are preparing for coming into our area tomorrow night and Friday?
Absolutely. This is going to be another winter weather storm. It may even rival the ice storms we had last year in some parts of our region. So we certainly want to prepare now as it gets closer and closer. 24 hours from now, things are going to be a lot worse than they are currently. Let's take a look outside our current conditions. Portsmouth and the Southern Ohio Medical Center cam right now wet, but that is regular rain. That is not freezing rain. No need to worry. As we take a look at our radar and satellite across our region, there's that cold front, that border between the rain and the snow just off towards our northwest, pushing towards us, spitting out a few waves of rain already. We can see a good chunk of us are at the moment on the rainy side. It looks like not too rough out near Summersville, Fayetteville, but everybody else is seeing some rain activity at the moment, it looks like. And if we take a look at our current temperatures, we are on the warm side thanks to a lot of warm air streaking in from the southwest ahead of this cold front. That's actually going to play a big role in our nasty weather tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, so stick around as we take a look at our forecast for tonight. However, things aren't too bad. On and off daytime showers are going to be around for tomorrow as well, and temperatures are going to stay on at least the mild side tonight and a good chunk of tomorrow, so most of us will be seeing a rainy day. However, it's not just going to be Floyd County, but all over our region we are going to see that rain turn over into some freezing rain as we move into the later afternoon and evening hours, all really depending on where you are in our viewing area, and that's going to lead to a nasty day. So here's a look at our Futurecast. Again, on and off showers here, there, up through midnight. As we move into the overnight hours, we are still expecting plenty of rain moving into our forecast, and then at 9 o'clock, the dreaded strip of pink off towards our northwest. That's a mixed precipitation will be moving on in, and as it does, it will be causing some commotion off in Portsmouth. Gallipolis in the beginning of the morning. As we move towards Charleston, Logan, that wave moves a little closer. Remember, after you get hit by this wave, it may still take another hour or two for that freezing rain to start to stick, but there is plenty of it coming our way. So the question is, why are we getting this freezing rain and this sleet? It all has to do with this cold front. This cold front is a pool of cold air. Cold air likes to be dense and likes to stick down in the lower parts of the atmosphere. If you have a basement, you know, your basement's always usually the coolest part in your house. However, we were talking about that warm air moving in from the southwest, and that's actually less dense, so it's going to ride over this hump of cold air. It's called an overrunning scenario, and that's exactly what's coming our way as we move ahead. To explain more how that's going to cause the sleet and ice, why don't we take a quick field trip outside? Typically, it gets warmer as we move down in elevation, right? Well, tomorrow that might not quite be the case. Let's explain why here by looking at the layers of the atmosphere. What are we in for tomorrow? Well, pretty much the upper parts of the atmosphere are going to be above freezing. Thus, the form of precipitation we get will end up being some rain. However, that cold pool below us is going to cause us some commotion. Why don't we go a little bit further down the atmosphere and see what would happen if we have a deep pool of cold air. A deep pool of cold air doesn't mean too bad of things, honestly. We will see that rain eventually freeze over into some sleet, which can be plowable. However, what if that pool of cold air is really shallow and we have to go further and further down to find it? Well, now at this point we do eventually hit that freezing air again. However, the rain doesn't have time to freeze over before it hits the ground. Thus, we'll see the rain freeze to the objects it hits and cause a nasty layer of ice. Ooh, so as you can see with our field trip, things are getting really nasty. Moving on ahead, why don't we right now take a look at our Food Fair augmented reality forecast with tonight's forecast. It's not half bad. Yeah, it's going to be wet outside, but we leave the ice for tomorrow. And honestly, the last half of tomorrow, it's going to be mostly just pure rain in the forecast. We'll start to see that ice forming later on in the daytime hours. And as we move on ahead, again, winter storm warning in effect for many towards the northwest. We are all under a winter weather advisory or flood advisory of some sort, but those northwestern counties are expecting, again, a quarter to half an inch of ice, and that's going to leave you at the best risk for those power outages further towards the southeast. A quarter of an inch up to of ice certainly will cause some issues out on the roads, but not as many power hits, and then eventually we all get hit with about an inch of snow to dust it all off in the end. By the time Saturday comes around, we're in recovery mode, and it's not going to be an easy recovery mode. We'll thaw by day, freeze by night, so those certainly will be many more icy roads out there in the forecast, but at least those daytimes will be above freezing and somewhat sunny.
Looks like we need to watch where we walk even on Saturday, too. It looks like it's still pretty
small
cold.
steps.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.